Good afternoon, students. So here we are seeing the second method here. Yesterday we have seen discounted cash flow techniques in non-discounted cash flow techniques in lecture number 1. Second lecture we are starting here non-discounted cash flow techniques. Basically, do remember students, discounted cash flow techniques considers time value of money. Discounted cash flow techniques say that rupees 1000 in 2015 and same rupees in 2015 doesn't have the same purchasing power. The purchasing power with the passage of time is bound to be reduced, as I told you in yesterday's lecture as well. So the first method we have seen as capital budgeting techniques yesterday. We have seen the first one as payback period. We have seen two categories into that. Number one, when cash inflows are constant and similar, which is called as an annuity. There, the payback period is calculated by the formula, that is initial investment divided by annual cash inflow or annual net cash inflow. Second formula we have seen, when cash inflows are not constant and similar, when those are differential cash inflows, then the formula is the year after which the initial investment is recovered plus remaining amount to be recovered for completing the initial investment divided by the next year cash inflow or net cash inflow from which above amount is taken. So these two formulas we have seen for yesterday's sum. We have solved the sum. Same sum we are going to solve today by the discounted cash flow method. And the first method there is net present value. The most important method out of discounted cash flow techniques, which considers the time value of money or present value of money, that is net present value. Now what is net present value? Net present value is nothing but the method which compares the present value of future cash inflows with the cash outflow or initial investment, and then we are arriving at the conclusion that whether the project is feasible or not, is it accepted or not. Obviously net present value has to be positive. Positive means greater than zero. You can see on the screen here, accept or reject criteria is written, my dear. NPV should be greater than zero, that is positive, then project is accepted. Greater than zero is positive itself, I believe, and we all know that. So NPV is positive, it should be accepted. NPV is zero, may or may not be accepted because it is neither contributing any profit towards your business but nor incurring any losses for your business for accepting this particular project. Whereas NPV is less than zero means it is not going to contribute anything in terms of profit, rather going to incur losses for you. So it is NPV is negative, is less than zero, hence project is rejected. NPV is equal to zero means may or may not be accepted, because we know that there are certain situations like COVID pandemic or any other situations which are exceptional, and there the business must run for its survival. In that case, business is not bothered about profit and losses. So such may be the situation where NPV is equal to zero, that it is not going to contribute in terms of profit there, but at the same time not incurring any kind of losses there. How to calculate NPV? The formula is before you on the screen, my dear. It is summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow or initial investment. Now there are few things which we need to consider when we are talking about inflows and outflows. So what is NPV? NPV is going to tell you how much precisely going to be added into the wealth of the shareholders if a particular project is accepted, by calculating the difference between summation of discounted cash inflow and cash outflow or initial investment. Means NPV is a very good method which is going to give you increase in absolute terms, increase in objective terms, that if a particular project is accepted, how much amount it is going to add into the wealth of the shareholders. Hence, NPV is a very popular and practical method to be adopted under discounted cash flow techniques. So what is NPV? It is nothing but net present value. It is going to calculate the returns of any project in present terms, obviously by comparing it with the cash outflow or initial investment. So let's see the example on this. And I was telling you that when we are talking about inflow and outflow, few things we need to remember here. So when we talk about cash outflow and cash inflow, method may be any, non-discounted or discounted. Now when we talk about cash outflow, what are the things to be considered here? Generally cash outflow consists of initial investment, that is the investment for the purchase of land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture. Simply you can say it is asset cost, fixed asset cost there. Second, specific payments and outflows, for example working capital outflow which arises in the year of commercial production, tax paid on capital gain made by the sale of old asset if any. So cash outflow means what exactly for a project, my dear students? Number one, the purchase cost of any asset like land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, plus any kind of installation or transportation cost of the same asset, because it is incidental cost, my dear, because this transportation expenses, installation expenses would not have been paid if the asset could not have been purchased. So that way around, do remember, any expenses which are incidental to the purchase of the asset, any expenses which are incidental to the acquisition of the fixed asset must be added into the cost of the asset there. So such assets, the such cost should be capitalized into the cost of the asset there. So cost of the fixed asset plus any incidental expenses like freight, carriage, installation, erection of the same asset obviously need to be added, plus any kind of survey cost, because at times when a new project is going to be launched, there are certain surveys which are going to be done. There is certain research and development which is to be done before introducing or launching such new products into the market. Such costs need to be added into the cost of the project there. So I'm differentiating two things, my dear. One is cost of the fixed asset. Cost of the fixed asset is nothing but purchase or acquisition cost of that particular fixed asset, say land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, plus any kind of incidental expenses for purchase of that particular fixed asset. Say for example, installation and erection charges, say for transportation charges, carriage, or any kind of taxes which are paid in case of the asset is going to be imported, so import duty, all such will be added into the cost of the asset. But cost of the project further includes cost of the asset plus any survey, any research and development cost, plus any extra working capital required for running this particular project. So all these costs will be added. So in cash outflow, how many things will be coming? Number one, purchase cost of the asset. So let me write it down for all of you so that there won't be any confusion. So when we talk about the cash outflow, then or initial investment, what need to be considered? So number one, we have to consider the purchase or acquisition cost of the asset. So it is acquisition cost of the asset, purchase cost of the asset. Obviously it is fixed asset as land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, plus any incidental expenses for the purchase of the assets. Any incidental expenses. Incidental expenses include, my dear, freight or carriage, we usually talk it about. Along with that, any installation cost, any erection cost for the asset to be installed, or any expenses which are paid for bringing that plant and machinery, or you can say furniture and fixture, from the place of supplier to the place of factory, all should be added. Plus what we need to add is any survey cost if it is given, survey, or you can just call it as research and development cost for the particular project there, plus any extra amount of working capital required. I'm changing the color for working capital because working capital is something which is going to be added first and then going to be released at the end of economic life. Students, what is working capital is nothing but the capital which is required for running day-to-day activities of the business. Now you may be saying why it is added, because this is the extra amount of working capital which is required for being putting into operation this particular plant and machinery or land and building. So obviously that working capital will be released once the economic life of that particular project is over. So this working capital is added first as part of outflow, then it is released after the economic life of the project is over in terms of inflow. But when it is going to be released, obviously it is going to be released with its present value, because it is released after 5 years, 10 years, but we need to consider its present value of future cash inflows when we are calculating any kind of discounted cash flow techniques. So do remember, students, the first and foremost thing when you are considering cost of the project, initial investment or cash outflow, what need to be considered? So it is acquisition cost of fixed asset plus incidental expenses like freight, carriage, transportation cost, erection cost, plus any survey cost, any research and development cost, plus any working capital. So this is your cash outflow or initial investment, or you can say this is also cost of the project. Do remember, when we talk about only cost of the fixed asset, then the first two components will be considered only. So students, do remember, when we talk about the cost of the fixed asset, then only acquisition cost plus incidental expenses should be added to consider cost of the fixed asset, because any survey cost, any research and development, any working capital cannot be part and parcel of cost of the fixed asset, but it is cost of the project, because cost of the project is a broader term. When we talk about cost of the fixed asset, is nothing but the purchase cost, acquisition cost, which is paid for acquiring that fixed assets in terms of land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, plus any installation expenses, any erection expenses, any transportation expenses for bringing that asset from the place of factory, from the place of supplier to the place of factory. That should be nothing but the asset cost. Why asset cost need to be different from the project cost? Because depreciation is always going to be charged on cost of the asset, not on cost of the project. So when we talk about calculation of depreciation, then asset cost is considered, not the project cost is considered. Do remember this difference. Next is, students, we are going to see what is cash inflows here. So yesterday we have seen, when we talk about cash inflows or net cash inflows, what need to be considered. So it is always simply PAT plus depreciation or profit after tax plus depreciation. That is the first thing need to be remembered here. Now these cash inflows are either given net or maybe gross. So if it is net given this way around, then our task is made easy. If it is cash flow before depreciation and tax, yesterday I told you, first deduct depreciation, then deduct tax, and then add back depreciation. We are going to see such a sum as well. But as of now, net cash inflows, let's concentrate. And cash flow after tax is equal to PAT plus depreciation. But along with that, what are other cash inflows need to be considered? That is given into this paragraph, my dear. Also, specific cash inflows like salvage value. Yes, so this is given here. So apart from the cash inflows which are mentioned into the question, my dear, these are also cash inflows need to be considered. In that, the first one is specific cash inflows like salvage value. Let me use this one. I think this is better when I talk about. So here it is C. So it is salvage value we can consider of new assets. Salvage value, residual value is also part and parcel of your net cash inflow, but at the end of economic life of the asset. Along with that, recovery of working capital, you can check it out here. So another cash inflow is given in terms of recovery of working capital. So cash inflows are obviously the cash inflows which are given in the question, maybe net or gross, doesn't matter. But along with that, there will be two extra cash inflows which are given into this paragraph. Number one is residual value, salvage value or scrap value of the fixed asset, which is at the expiry of the fixed assets economic life or project's economic life. And second is working capital, which you have invested first, now it is going to be released. Why it is going to be released? Because as the project life is over, this extra amount of working capital comes back to the businessman there. Hence, release of working capital should be done at the end of economic life. So do remember, students, when you are calculating net cash inflows, always these two cash inflows you need to concentrate upon separately if they are provided in the question. If it is given, obviously we are going to take in terms of salvage value, residual value or scrap value. Second, working capital. If not given, no need to take. But if it is given, need to be taken. That too at the end of economic life. Don't forget it. So another cash inflows apart from what is given here is anything else there? At the end of the project, recovery of working capital. Even they have given tax savings of on loss due to sale of old asset. When you are purchasing a new asset, so there should be sale of old asset which is going to save the taxes. Obviously that is also kind of inflow there. But as of now, when sums will be coming, this kind of cash flow will be coming and should be carefully considered. The general assumption is that all cash inflows occur at the end of the each year. So ye bhi yaad rakhiye, students. This is the general assumption that any cash flows which are always happening into the business for any project, those will be happening at the end of economic life of the asset there. So let's go for this one. So kya kya aayega cash inflow mein? The first one is net cash inflows or gross cash inflows, whatever is given in the question. Second is you need to consider salvage value at the end of the project life, which is provided in the question. And third, most important, is working capital. And even along with this, fourth one is given, which will be considered if given in the question, that is tax saving on sale of old asset. That is given here, tax saving on loss due to sale of old asset. So say the old asset has been sold on loss or profit, but obviously it is going to save your taxes. So that tax saving is a kind of cash inflow again on the sale of old assets. So that should also be considered. So let me write it down here, tax saving, if it is provided. Do remember students, everything is possible if it is given. Otherwise, this one is very much possible. The net cash inflows are provided in the question or gross cash inflows are provided in the question. That is anyways going to be taken. But along with that, what we need to take is salvage, residual or scrap value, which is the terminal value at the end of economic life of that particular fixed asset. Second, what we need to consider is nothing but the working capital, which is going to be released at the end of economic life of the asset. And third, we are going to consider the tax gain, or you can say that the saving into tax on loss or on profit by selling the old asset there. So what is going to be considered in cash outflow and cash inflow at the same time? Do remember, project cost is different and cost of the fixed asset are two different things, which I just explained here. So never forget this one, because this is the basic of capital budgeting. Whenever you are comparing any technique, let's say it is non-discounted or discounted, the major thing or the core thing is to identify what is initial investment or cash outflow of the project, what is cost of the fixed asset, and then what are the cash inflows, various cash inflows. Those may be given in terms of net cash inflows or gross cash inflows, number one. Number two, any release of working capital at the end of economic life of the asset. Number three, salvage value, scrap value or residual value or terminal value at the end of economic life of the asset. And last but not least, that any tax savings due to sale of existing asset or sale of old asset either at loss or profit, all these will be part and parcel of inflow. So do remember students, when we are considering cash inflow and cash outflow, because we need to compare them, so these are the things which need to be considered and which need to be taken very seriously, and then only sum can be solved. So let's go for the sum now. Let's see the steps first. So what is NPV is very clear. It is nothing but the difference between present value of benefits, that is present value of future cash inflow, which we call it as popularly discounted cash flow, and the present value of obviously cash outflow. When we talk about cash outflow, it is always done right now. So इसका present value, अगर आज 20 करोड़ का प्लांट एंड मशीनरी खरीद रहे, if you are purchasing a 20 crore plant and machinery, obviously its today's value is 20 crore and its present value is also 20 crore, because it is right now incurred, right now paid. So it is comparing with the present value of future cash inflow with the cash outflow or initial investment. That is what given here. So formula, do remember, summation of discounted cash inflow or summation of present value of future cash inflow minus cash outflow. That is the formula for calculation of NPV. So step number one, and when project is accepted, obviously for that your summation of net present value or summation of your present value of future cash inflow must be greater than your cash outflow or investment, because that is going to add absolute terms into shareholders wealth there. इससे इजाफा होगा. Let's say that you invested rupees 1 crore and you are getting rupees say 50 lakh per year for next 4 years. So how much you invested, students? 1 crore, and you will be getting 50 lakh per annum for next 4 years. So it is the annuity cash flow which is going to give you for the entire life of the project 2 crore to you. But these are the returns in terms of future. We need to calculate their present value. So obviously it need to be discounted with the given discounting factor or cost of capital. And in cost of capital and discounting factor, if you multiply them, and let's say the value is now coming 1 crore 60 lakhs. Actually is 2 crore, but after 4 years, today's value it is coming 1 crore 60 lakh. Cash outflow is 1 crore. Now 1 crore 60 lakh is more than 1 crore. Hence you can say NPV is positive and project should be accepted. So as simple as that. So NPV need to be positive. As positive means after you can say that it is greater than 0 is positive, lesser than 0 is negative. That way around, these are the terms connoted. So what are the procedure here? Number one, determine the total cash outflow of the project. How to determine it, I just told you. And time periods in which they occur, if maybe at different time periods of time, which usually doesn't happen, they happen only once, but at times it may happen. Second, determine the total cash inflows of the project and the time periods in which they arise. So cash inflows to be determined along with salvage value, scrap or residual value, along with working capital release, along with tax savings on sale of old asset at loss or profit, and further compute the total discounted cash flow by discounting the inflows with the PV factor or discounted factor there, and then compute NPV by comparing discounted cash inflow less discounted cash outflow, which is step number 4, less step number 2, and then finally accept project if NPV is positive, else reject. So these are the simple steps there. Let's do the same sum. So you can check out here. I have copied the sum for you. So this sum itself we are going to do, my dear. यही sum हम करेंगे यहाँ पे. तो ये आपके cash inflows है ना? So 30,000 it is uniform for project X for 5 years, and for project Y 50, 40, 20, 10, 10. So these are the cash inflows. So let's solve the sum. So for second method, that is compute NPV and comment on acceptability. तो अभी NPV करेंगे अपन, ये करेंगे अभी. Payback हमने किया कल के लेक्चर में. Yesterday we have done the payback, if you remember correctly, am I right? कल हमने payback कर लिया था. अभी हम करेंगे NPV. तो एनपीवी के लिए हमें करना क्या है? सबसे पहले हमें बस उसका चेक करना है कि the net cash inflows are given or gross cash inflows are given, and you can see here the cash inflows are net cash inflows here. So our task is easy. We are not given with cash flow before depreciation and tax. In that case, we need to deduct depreciation first, then tax, then add back depreciation, then arrive at net cash inflows, then further multiply it with the discounting factor. But fortunately, in this example, we are given with net cash inflows. So let's consider them as it is, and those are at 10%. The cost of the capital for the project is 10%, which you can see here. A firm whose cost of capital is 10%, considering two mutually exclusive projects. So what is mutually exclusive? I told you in first lecture there that if in a toss of a coin, if head is there, tail will not be there. In a throw of a dice, let's say number 3 is there, so other numbers are automatically absent. And at the same time, in a shuffling of cards, if one card is drawn randomly, remaining 51 possibilities are automatically rejected. That is nothing but all about the mutually exclusive events there. So two projects, so one can be selected only. So 30,000 is the cash inflow. So let me write it down, the cash inflows and outflows for all of you, and let's solve this. So let's use this one only. Chaliye. So it is 30,000 each, my dear, for all the years for project X. So 30,000 each. The total is going to happen in terms of future cash inflows, 30,000 into 5, or 30,000 5 times obviously there. So it is 1,50,000 is the total here. Whereas for project Y, the cash inflows are given differently there, and those are, first is, I believe, you can check it here. The first one is given is 50, 40, 20, 10, 10. So these are the cash inflows here. So first is 50, then it is 40, 20, and finally 10 each for last 2 years, and total is 50 plus 40, 90, 110, and 20, it is 1,30,000. So this is what the total. Now see, if you are investing for project X and Y, obviously the cash outflow for both the projects is given. दोनों का cash outflow एक ही है. As far as this question is concerned, it can differ for different questions, but as of now, इसका cash outflow है 70,000. In the question, you can check it out. Cash outflow given into the question is only 70,000 for project X as well as for project Y. Now these cash inflows are different because cash inflow for X is net cash inflow as well as Y for it is net cash inflow. But for X it is annuity, my dear, because it is similar amount received, and for Y it is not an annuity. Why? Because for Y you can say simply it is given into differential cash flows. So let's use the discounting factor here. So 10% discounting factors are provided into the question here. So those are usually given in the question, or you can calculate on your own by applying the equation 1 upon 1 plus r raised to n. So as of now, we are going to apply only for 10%. Do remember, because we have the cost of capital as 10%. तो अभी के लिए तो हम बस 10% यूज करेंगे, क्योंकि it is given as 10% for us. So as of now, we are going to consider only 10%. We need not click everything. Yes, that is not required, because anyways, let's clear it. So we are, just remember students, we are using this 10% only as of now, because 10% is the cost of capital. So let's use it for calculating the present value of future cash inflows. So first it is 0.909 second it is 0.826, third 0.751, fourth 0.683, and last is 0.621. So these are the discounting factors which are given here. Now do remember students, in case of an annuity, we need to take the total. Reason being is that the cash inflows are same for each and every year, and we just need not multiply them every time. Rather, we can multiply its total of all the 5 years of discounted factor or PV factor along with only one cash inflow, because cash inflow is constant and similar, that is 30,000 every year. So let's do the total of all these here. So it is you can use calculator or you can directly do here. So it is 9 plus 6, 15, 16, 19, 20. So this is 0. 2 is carry on, 2 plus 2, 4, 9, 8, 17, 19. So it is 9, 1, 10, 18, 17, 23, and 29. So let me do it right again. So it is 7 and 3 is the carryover. So you can say that the annuity factor for 10% at 10% for 5 years is 3.790 or simply 3.79. And for why we cannot do the annuity there. Now for X as well, you can just multiply 30,000 into 909.909. This also can be done. But this will save your time and efforts. When annuity is given, better directly multiply 30,000 into 3.79. आंसर विल बी वन एंड द सेम. लेट मी शो यू बाय बोथ द मेथड्स. मैं दोनों से आपको समझा देता हूं कि मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूं. I just want to tell you that whenever cash inflows are annuity, you need not multiply it every year. Rather multiply it in the total there, which is 3.79. But we are going to do for both of them. So first 30,000 into 0.909. Let's do all the calculations so that you can understand this one. And obviously you can use the calculator here. So 30,000 into 0.909, the first calculation here. It is coming 27,270, the first one here. 27270, the first one. Second, I just need to change the multiplier factor only, because 30,000 is the same cash inflow. Second is 826. 24,780 is the second one. Third is 751 or 0.751. 22,530. It is the third one. Fourth, it is 0.683 is the discounting factor for fourth year. 2490. And the last is 621. It is coming 18,630. 18,630. Now you can total all of them, or else what you can do, I'm showing you here. Check out guys, this is for applicable only for annuity factor. So you can say that it is the total we are going to check for this one, or I can say that summation of DCF for project X, and as it is annuity, so how it is calculated? 30,000 is the annuity 30,000 is the annual cash inflow, annuity cash inflow multiplied by, directly you can do 3.790. This will also give you the answer for summation of discounted cash flow. So 30,000 multiplied by 3.790, and that is coming 1,13,700, my dear. And another thing, you calculated right now individually, that total also will come 1,13,700. Which one? ये पांचों का टोटल भी वही आएगा अगर आप करेंगे तो 27,270 plus 24,780 plus 22,530 plus 24,90 and then 18,630. If you do all these calculations, your total will again come the same, that is 1,13,700. So do remember students, in case of annuity, you need not make the table. Directly you can just take the total factor of the annuity, or maybe which is provided directly into the sum. So apply that, multiply it with the given annuity cash flow, which is 30,000. At times it may be 1 lakh, 40,000, whatever. You will get directly the summation of discounted cash flow for that particular project. But for Y, yes, we have to do. So cross check it. ऑल 5 टोटल्स ये करेंगे तो आपका इतना ही आएगा 1,13,700, और एंड आप ऐसे करेंगे तो भी सेम आएगा. सो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज व्हाट एन्युटी व्हेन इट इज गिवन, देन यू कैन अप्लाई दिस पर्टिकुलर methodology. You can just multiply with the total annuity factor given for say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, whatever is given, multiplied with the annual cash annuity flow there. So it is 30,000 here. Let's do for B. Sorry, Y. So 50,000 into 0.909 is the first one. That is coming 45,440 is the first one here. Let me change the color. So it is 45,440, 45,450 here. First one. Second is 40,000 now, and the discounting factor is 0. Even the discounting factor need to be changed. Second year discounting factor 0.826. 826. It is coming 33,040. So that is second one. Third, 751 is the factor, and cash inflow is 20,000 only. So 20,000 into 0.751, 15,020. This is discounted cash flow. Students, these are nothing but the present value of cash inflows in today's term, but these are given in future term. For project X, it is 30,000 for first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. But its present value in year 1 is 27,270. Second year, after second year, you will be getting 30, but its today's value at 10% is 24,780. After 3 years, it is 30,000, but today's value is 22,530 at 10%. After 4 years, it is 30, but today's value is 24,90. After 5 years, it is 18,630, but its today's value is, after 5 years, it is 30,000, but today's value is 18,630. And that way around, same way, 50,000 you will be receiving at the end of year 1, but its today's value at 10% is 45,450. Same way, 40,000 after 2 years, but today's value is 33,040. 20,000 after 3 years, but today's value is 15,020. And let's do for the third one. Now it is 10,000, and the discounting factor is also changing. It is 0.683. 0.683. So it is 10,000 into 0.683. That is the next calculation. 6830 is the fourth. And next to that, 10,000 into 621. So I can directly write down 6210. So this is done for project Y. Let me do the total for all of them. So first is 45,450 plus second is 33,040 plus 15,020 plus 6830 and last 6210. So these are all your discounting factors, which is totaling you 1,06,550. So this is the present value, my dear, for project Y. 1,06,550. So this is what the PV factor we have done, and we have done all the calculations here, which you can see on the screen. So first is annuity for 30,000. Just you can do the both methodologies here. Either you can multiply them with the given discounting factor separately, or you can just multiply with the annuity. Now this is the wonderful table, students, we have done here. Now just we need to put down the formula for NPV. The formula is summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow. We all know cash inflow is given here. The total we have calculated for both the project X as well as Y. For X, summation of discounted cash inflow total is coming 1,13,700, which is here. You can check it out here. तो ये 113,700 है, और अगर Y का अगर आप चेक करेंगे तो that is coming 1,06,550. So this is on screen the total summation of discounted cash inflow. You can check it out here. we have just done the total there. Obviously this should be compared with the cash outflow which is given in the question 70,000. ये देखिए 70,000 का आपका cash outflow है, क्वेश्चन में भी दिखाता हूं आपको, ये देखिए 70,000 is the investment here. Now I told you for cash outflow or investment there are a number of things like cost of the project. You need to consider fixed cost of the asset plus any installation, erection, transportation, carriage, freight, plus at the same time any extra working capital required, and obviously all need to be added along with survey cost and research and development if it is given. But in this question directly they have given the project cost as 70,000 only, so we need not add anything there because nothing is provided. All these things need to be added only when it is given. As of now nothing is given, so obviously we are going to compare with directly 70,000 when direct cash inflows are given. So let's do NPV, and NPV is equal to, the formula for NPV is, that is summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow. I'm not writing the formula here because we just have seen the formulas which you can see here guys. यहाँ पे देखिए ये फॉर्मूला है समेशन ऑफ डिस्काउंटेड कैश इनफ्लो जिसका टोटल हमारे पास अवेलेबल है, और कैश आउटफ्लो या इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट 70,000 है फॉर दिस सम. सो आई एम नॉट राइटिंग द फॉर्मूला बट एग्जाम में आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. राइट डाउन द फॉर्मूला विदाउट फेल. सो एनपीवी फॉर एक्स, लेट मी राइट इट डाउन हियर फॉर एक्स डायरेक्टली. एनपीवी फॉर एक्स इज कमिंग 1,13,700, which is annuity. I can calculate by both the ways which I have shown here. So it is coming simply 43,700. That is the first NPV for X, and for Y it is 1,06,550 minus 70,000. So NPV in this case is only 36,550. Now both are positive if you can check out here. ये दोनों NPV positives है, but at the same time which one is accepted? As I told you, which is going to add more wealth to the shareholders. So project X is costing 70,000, Y is also costing 70,000, and mutually exclusive है, मतलब acceptance of one will automatically reject the other one. So students, now tell me which one should be accepted. Yes, yes Akash, yeah, absolutely, the one which is going to add value to the shareholders, more value to the shareholders, need to be accepted. Hence you can write down, hence project Y is rejected and X is accepted due to higher NPV, because it is going to add more wealth to the shareholders. Otherwise both are positive, but as we want to accept only one, so the one which is going to add more wealth to the shareholders need to be selected. So project X is selected or accepted due to higher NPV, because project X will add into the wealth of the shareholders 43,700. So this is how NPV is calculated, my dear. Very easy. You need to first arrive at net cash inflow, that is already given in this question, so task becomes easy. And second, just we need to calculate their present value of future cash inflow. So their present value is, we calculated, the total is coming 113,700 for project X. For project Y 1,06,550. For future their total is coming 150 and 130, but these are the future cash inflows, my dear. We are calculating their present value at the rate of 10%, which is the given cost of capital. So this way around we can solve any sum and say that which one is accepted and which one is rejected. I hope you are getting this. Not at all difficult, very easy there. So the first and foremost thing you need to remember that the cash inflows need to be at net cash inflow stage, so that we can just multiply with the PV factor or discounting factor, calculate their present value, and then compare with the discounted cash flows with the cash outflow or initial investment, and to check out the feasibility of the project. Let's do it for the next method, profitability index. Now same method, my dear, it is called as PI, profitability index, desirability factor, or present value index method, or benefit cost ratio it is called as. Now what is the difference? If you check the formula here, it is summation of discounted cash inflow. अगर आप यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला देख सकते हैं तो क्या लिखा है ये देखिए, summation of discounted cash inflow divided by cash outflow or initial investment. Means same formula is there. In earlier equation it was in difference format, that is summation of discounted cash inflow or summation of present value of future cash inflow minus initial investment. अब यहाँ पे difference के बजाय it is in a ratio format. So just we need to calculate the ratio which is called as PI, profitability index, benefit cost ratio, or desirability factor or present value index method, and let's do the same thing there. So both the components we are having in this question summation of discounted cash inflow, we are having initial investment or cash outflow, and obviously when the project is accepted, let's check out here if pi is greater than 1. So if pi is greater than 0, in NPV it is accepted. If it is greater than 0, here it is automatically greater than 1. Why? Because obviously if your cash inflows are positive, then numerator will be more and denominator will be less. So summation of discounted cash inflow, let me do for you so that I can make you understand this one. It is very easy, my dear. So let's do for project X. So project X I'm going to do first. So project X first I'm going to do for you. So this is project X. Formula is summation of discounted cash inflow, which is coming 1,13,700 for project X, divided by cash outflow or initial investment is 70,000. This is for project X. Project Y, the same formula is applied, and the summation of discounted cash inflow was 1,06,550. 1,06,550. Investment is same, 70,000, and let's calculate the PI. PI in both the cases is greater than 1, absolutely, but obviously again the same thing, the one which is having higher PI should be accepted and other one should be rejected, as simple as that. So it's like exactly NPV, same answer will be given. Now there may be question in your mind, then why these two different methods are there? Because there is a simple logic. 1.624 it is coming, my dear. Let me change this. So first is 1,06,550 divided by 70,000, it is coming 1.522. So out of these two, both are again greater than 1, both must be accepted, but which is going to be adding more value to the shareholders' wealth? Or this is going to show you rupee, what are the benefits for rupee 1? So for every rupee 1, it is going to add 0.62 in your wealth of the shareholders. When we talk about profitability index, this is the basic difference between profitability index and NPV. NPV is going to give you the answer in absolute terms, in precise figure, that how much it is going to add to the shareholders' wealth. If the project is accepted, it is going to add 43,700 extra in your shareholders' wealth, that too in present terms. For project Y, 36,550. And what about profitability index? For every 1 rupee, you are going to add 62 paisa extra, which is invested by you. Every 1 rupee, you are going to add 62 paisa exactly into your wealth of the shareholders. That is what the difference between absolute terms answer is given by NPV, relative terms answer is given by PI. That is the only difference. Otherwise, both the methods are discounted cash flow method. And conclusion I can write down, project Y is accepted. Sorry, project X is accepted because of project X is accepted due to higher PI, higher profitability index. And do remember, students, the project which is accepted by NPV is automatically accepted by PI. You know the reason, because formula is same, summation of discounted cash inflow divided by cash outflow. So if there it is coming positive, here obviously it will be automatically greater than 1. If there it is negative, here it will be less than 1 and automatically it is rejected. So the project which is accepted by NPV will be accepted by PI and vice versa, provided the initial investment in the project is one and the same. Otherwise it won't be. Why? Because let's say that project X involves 70,000 as cash outflow, project Y involves 1,20,000 as cash outflow. Now once initial investment is changing for various projects, then this answer will not match for NPV and PI. And hence these are the two separate methods here, because PI is going to give the ranking of the project in terms of relative returns for every rupee 1. So that is what the difference it is going to make when you compare NPV and PI. This is what the answer. I hope you are getting NPV and PI. It is all about the same formula. The method difference is nothing but one is going to show you how the answer is going to come when it is going to add into the wealth of the shareholders in absolute terms, and second is relative terms. So these are the two methods: summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow, or summation of discounted cash inflow minus initial investment. And for PI, summation of discounted cash inflow or summation of present value of future cash inflows divided by initial investment or cash outflow. That is the formula for NPV and PI. And how project is accepted or rejected is just before you here. I hope it is very clear to you. The next method here you can check out is IRR. So what is IRR? IRR is such a method where NPV becomes exactly zero. It is a trial and error method called as, because here we need to try on our own and find out the discounting factors on our own. 10% is given, 15% is given, various percentages are given for IRR, which you can use on your own, or if nothing is given, it gives entire freedom to your imagination. So we need to arrive at such a rate where NPV becomes zero. And for that, the procedure is first find out, take any rate, and by that way find out your NPV. If it is coming positive, then you need to try such a rate by which NPV comes negative. Now what is the logic there? Do remember, it is a trial and error method. So first you tried any rate, and by that way NPV is coming negative. So to bring it positive, you should try lower rate. So these are the two scenarios. First, you will try any rate, by that way NPV is coming negative. Now you want positive NPV, so try lower rate than the earlier one. Because this is trial and error, you tried a rate, and by that way you tried NPV, but NPV has gone negative. Now you want positive NPV, so try lower rate than the earlier one. Focus on my point. So I'm saying that if you try a particular rate in IRR, and by that way NPV is first coming negative, then try lower rate to get positive NPV than the earlier one. Whereas let's say that in the first trial itself you got positive NPV. Now you want negative NPV. Now you should try higher rate than the previous one to get negative NPV, because one student X may be trying first a particular rate and he has got negative NPV. Now his requirement is to get positive NPV, so he should try lower rate to get positive NPV when he first got negative NPV. And the other one, say student Y has tried a rate, he got first positive NPV. Now he want negative. So for getting negative, he should try higher rate than the earlier one. That is the simple logic. Means in IRR, when you are doing trial and error, first try any rate. If by that rate NPV is coming negative, then you want positive NPV. And in that case, to get positive NPV, you should try a lower rate than the earlier one which has tried and you got a positive NPV. Sorry, you got negative NPV there. So here you first tried, you got negative NPV. Now you want positive NPV, so try lower rate. Another students who tried first and got first positive NPV, now he should try higher rate than the earlier one to get negative NPV. Let me tell you into this example. ये example में अपन try करते हैं. Let's calculate IRR for this example. So IRR is what? IRR is such a rate where NPV becomes zero, and obviously it is a trial and error method, and we need to find out IRR by finding one positive NPV and by finding one negative NPV. And obviously in NPV method, the discounted factor is given, the discounting rate is given. In IRR, you have entire freedom for your imagination and you can try the rates here. But as far as this question is concerned, they have given you with discounting factors here. यहाँ पे देख लीजिए, आपको अलग अलग discounted factors उन्होंने provide किए थे question में. ये देखिए. So actually 10% is the cost of capital, उससे हमने try किया, हमारा NPV positive आया है. अब हमें चाहिए negative NPV. तो negative के लिए मैंने क्या बोला, if you try a particular rate and you get first positive NPV, then you should try higher rate to get negative NPV. तो अभी 15 से 10 से तो पॉजिटिव आया दोनों का, अभी 15 से निगेटिव आ सकता है क्या? बट ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि 15 से भी फिर से पॉजिटिव आ जाए, क्योंकि दोनों में डिफरेंस ज्यादा रहेगा, तो 15 से भी हो सकता है पॉजिटिव ही आ जाए, लेकिन हमें चाहिए निगेटिव. देन यू कैन ट्राई 20. सो दे आर गिवन वेरियस रेट्स हियर, सो वी कैन ट्राई ऑल ऑफ देम. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You may say then answer will vary. No, it will not vary much. So one may try 15 first, one may try 20 first. It may happen कि 15 से भी पॉजिटिव आ रहा है, so डायरेक्टली आप 20 भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं. 20 से निगेटिव आ जाएगा तो you can say that IRR lies in between 10 and 20 or 15 and 20. Try to keep the difference minimum between the two rates which you are trying, because IRR के लिए हमें फॉर्मूला भी ट्राई करना है, और IRR का फॉर्मूला क्या है ये देखिए. The formula to calculate IRR is lower rate. So here is the formula written. It's lower rate plus NPV at lower rate into bracket divided by difference in two present values whole multiplied by difference into two rates. This is what the formula. This is when you are trying first with lower rate. You can try with higher rate as well. So you may be trying 10 and 15. So lower is 10 and higher is 15. Absolutely. Let's say you are trying 15 and 20. Then in that case, lower is 15 and higher is 20. So by that way IRR need to be calculated. Same question we are utilizing, and now we are doing it by say whatever percent we want to do. यहाँ पे अपन कर सकते हैं. I think let's go for 20%. That will be easy. Go there, because I believe by 15 also it may come positive again, but we want negative. 10 से तो positive आ ही गया है. So let me first write it down. NPV for 10%, because we have already calculated NPV X at 10% and NPV Y at 10%, because we already calculated. तो ये एक काम खत्म कर लेते हैं. And how much is NPV coming? It's for X it is coming 43,700, 36,550. These are the two answers. So it is 43,700, and for Y it is 36,550. So this is the third method we are seeing in discounted, my dear. First we have seen today net present value. Second we have seen profitability index. Third we are going to see IRR and NPV. One positive we have already got. Let's go for negative, and I'm directly trying 20% to avoid any further extra calculations. So I'm directly taking 20%. 20% में भी एक चीज कर सकता हूँ मैं, मेरा काम आसान करना है तो. As for one project it is annuity, so directly I can multiply for 20%. So I can write down that is summation of discounted cash inflow. Summation of discounted cash inflow for project X at 20%. 20% का अगर मुझे निकालना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? My annuity is 30,000 per annum multiplied by the annuity factor for 5 years at 20%, and that is given in the question to you. यहाँ पे दिया है, देखिए आपको, बस मुझे उसका टोटल लेना है ना. तो ये 20% वाला नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो आप डायरेक्टली एडिशन कर सकते हैं, डायरेक्टली मल्टीप्लाई करके फिर एडिशन कर सकते हैं. आई एम गोइंग टू डू द टोटल हियर डायरेक्टली. तो यहाँ पे ही टोटल कर लेता हूँ मैं इसका. 0.833. These are the discounting factors. You can use calculator or do on your own. That is very much possible. No issues there. So 0.833, the first one, plus 0.694. This I can do only when cash inflows are annuity. Otherwise, I need to multiply individually and then do the total. So 0.833 first, 0.694 second, 0.579 third, 0.579 is the third, plus the fourth one is given 0.482, 0.482, plus the last one is 0.402, 0.402. So all these are the discounting factors here. So 0.833, 0.694, 0.579 plus 0.482 plus the last one is 0.402. .402, and the total is coming 2.99. It is coming 2.99, which I can approximate and can take 3 as well. So this is for annuity for project X. So let me do it for X. So it is, I'm calculating discounted cash inflow, and it is 30,000 into 2.99. It is annuity factor at 10% for 5 years. So it is 2.99 multiplied by 30,000, or simply 30,000 into 3 if I have done. Obviously it will come directly 90,000 there. Unfortunately still it is positive because cash outflow is 70,000, my dear. See, this is the problem with IRR. You need to keep on trying till you get negative NPV. Now even by 20 also it is coming positive. Why? Because I'm doing 30,000 into 2.99, which is approximately 89,700. Now if I calculate the PV or NPV, so NPV is nothing but summation of discounted cash inflow, which is 89,700 here. Cash outflow is 70,000. still NPV is positive, my dear. So this is the problem with IRR. You should keep on trying till you get one positive and another negative NPV. So 20% will also not help. I may go for 25%, and this is for X. Maybe for Y it is going to help, but I'm not sure. Let's go for a rate. Anyways, it is a trial and error calculation. Just keep on trying. You need to get one rate at which positive. That we already got 10%. 10 से पॉजिटिव आ ही चुका है, बट चलो 20 से भी कर लेते हैं, 20 का खत्म कर लेते हैं. फॉर 20 इट इज, सो इट इज एनपीवी फॉर एक्स, ये कर लेते हैं. एनपीवी फॉर एक्स at 20% is equal to 89,700. Summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow is 70,000. Still it is positive, my dear, though it is 19,700. Okay, let's do NPV for Y. Same manner. कितना आता है देखते हैं. NPV for Y. अगर NPV मैं Y का यहाँ पे निकालूं तो पहला कैश फ्लो था, I think it is 50, right? Second is 40, next 20, and 10, 10. I'm not doing for X because it is annuity. I have done directly. X मैंने नहीं किया क्योंकि वो annuity है, directly कर दिया मैंने. 20 मैं नहीं लूंगा यहाँ पे अभी. In spite of 20, I'll go for 25. No, I'm going for 20. 20 का मुझे निकालना जरूरी है because I'm thinking कि मैं कम से कम difference लूँ, तो एक 20 ट्राई करूँ अभी, और दूसरा में भी 25 से आ जाए तो. सो 20 के डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर क्या है? तो फर्स्ट वन इज 833, 694,579. फर्स्ट इज 833, second is 694, third is 579. I hope I'm right. This is given in the question, so you need not bother. Yes, 694,579, 482, 402. So it is 482 and 402. These are the further discounting factors here. 0.482 and 402. So let me do it for Y. Y का मैं अभी DCF निकालता हूँ. So it is 50,000 into 0.833, the first one. 41,650 is the first one for Y. I'm repeating, I haven't done X because it is annuity. I have done directly. Second is 40,000 into 0.694. 40,000 into 0.694 is coming 27,760. Second here. Third, 20,000 into 0.579. 11,580 it is, and as it is 10,000, so I can directly write it down, 4820 and 4020. The total I can do for all these to arrive at summation of discounted cash inflow or summation of present value of future cash inflow, 41,650 first, second is 27,760 plus 11,580 plus 4820 plus 4020. So do with me simultaneously, my dear. It is coming 89,830. So it is also positive. 89,830. This is again positive here. So it is 89,830 minus 70,000. So it is coming 19,830 for project Y. Is it right? I have taken 50, 40, 20, 10, 10. It's 50, 40, 20, 10, 10. That is correct. And I tried with 20%. So unfortunately, students, by 20% also it is coming positive. अभी 10 से तो positive आया, 20 से भी positive आया. So that is what the problem with IRR. Now next I can try is, obviously I can go for either 25% or 30%. I think both are available in the question for me. Question में दोनों available है मेरे पास, because they are given a table separately here. Yes, they are given 25 as well as 30. So better to try for 30 directly, क्योंकि 25 से भी थोड़ा बहुत पॉजिटिव आ गया तो फिर से फंसेगा काम, क्योंकि हमें एक चाहिए पॉजिटिव, दूसरा चाहिए निगेटिव। लेट्स गो फॉर 30%। 30% के फैक्टर है यहाँ पे 0.769। इसका मैं टोटल कर लेता हूँ सो दैट आई कैन डू इट फॉर एक्स एज इट इज एन्युटी। So 0.769 is first one. Second 0.592. I'm trying directly 30% students plus 0.455 plus 0.350 plus 0.269. Now in exam, these rates, if not given, you need to try on your own by calculating with the formula 1 upon 1 plus r raised to n. You need to take till 3 decimal, and the third decimal should be taken after considering the fourth decimal. If the fourth decimal is 5 or more than 5, add 1 digit into the third one, and if it is not more than 5 or 5, then leave it as it is and take 3 decimal. So not necessary in exam this table will be given. If not given, you can do on your own, and you need to find out such two rates. By one NPV is positive, by another one NPV is negative. So as of now we got 20, by that we positive. 10 is the cost of capital 10%, उससे भी positive आया था, 20 से भी positive आया. Now we are trying 30%. 30% का first है 0.6769, second is 0.592, third is 0.455, fourth is 0.350 and last is 0.269. इसका total मैंने किया 2.435 it is coming. So annuity factor at 30% is 2.435. So let me try for 10%, 30% now for IRR, because I'm trying for 30% now. 10 is already done as cost of capital, 20 भी कर दिया, अब मैं 30 कर रहा हूँ. Let's check what kind of difference it is going to make. क्या difference ये करेगा? So NPV at 30%. X, so it is 30,000 multiplied by 2.435. ये तो समेशन ऑफ डिस्काउंटेड कैश इनफ्लो आया आपका, है ना, इसको ब्रैकेट कर लेता हूँ, माइनस कैश आउटफ्लो 70,000 माय डियर. तो ये x के लिए कर सकते हैं, y के लिए तो टेबल पूरा करना पड़ेगा, तो y का भी कर लेते हैं. पहले इसका मल्टीप्लीकेशन करके इसका एनपीवी खत्म करते हैं, देखते हैं पॉजिटिव आता है या निगेटिव आता है. 30,000 इंटू 2.435, 30,000 into 2.435, it is coming 73,050. देखो अभी भी बहस गई पानी में, क्यों? Because still it is coming positive. Now it is 73,050. This is how it is problematic, my dear, because you need to try till it becomes negative. अभी भी ये 73,050 और अपना कैश आउटफ्लो 70,000 है, मतलब ये 30 पे भी पॉजिटिव आ रहा है. हाँ, ये जरूर है कि अभी 35 पे जरूर निगेटिव आएगा, क्योंकि ये दोनों में डिफरेंस देखिए, ऊपर 19,700 था, अभी ये लगभग 3,000 पे आ गया डिफरेंस. बिकॉज अभी ये 70,000 से माइनस करेंगे तो आपका पॉजिटिव ही एनपीवी आने वाला है एज ऑफ नाउ फॉर प्रोजेक्ट एक्स, एंड दैट इज कमिंग 3050. दिस इज पॉजिटिव. लेट्स डू फॉर 30% फॉर वाई, एनपीवी एट 30% फॉर वाई. उसके लिए टेबल पूरा करना पड़ेगा. अब मैं 20 के फिगर्स यहाँ के हटा रहा हूँ, because you got how I calculated. Just I'm clearing these figures so that I can write down 30% here, because I want minimum difference between two rates. दोनों में का मिनिमम डिफरेंस मैं चाहता हूं, इसलिए मैं अभी यहाँ पे 30 ट्राई करूंगा. और 30 के डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर्स क्या है? तो पहला डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर था 30 का. 30 के डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर्स यहाँ पे है, आप देख सकते हैं 0.769, 592, 455. 0.769, 592, 455. ये पहले तीन हो गए. 350, 269, लास्ट टू. 350 and 269. These are last two there. इनसे मैं ट्राई करूंगा y के लिए. Obviously this I need to clear up because now I want by 30%. Anyways 30 का भी पॉजिटिव आया, x का तो पॉजिटिव आया, y we don't know. Let's do for y. So it is 50,000 multiplied by 0.69. 769 there. So it is 38,440, 38,450, sorry. First one. Second is 40,000 into 0.592, 23,680. Third it is 20,000 into 0.455, 9100. और यहाँ पे आएगा 3500 2690, क्योंकि ये 10,000 से है. इनका टोटल कर लेता हूँ मैं अभी. 38,450 प्लस 23,680 प्लस 9100 प्लस 3500 प्लस 2690. So students, it is still positive 77,420. 77,420 ये अभी भी पॉजिटिव है, 30% से भी पॉजिटिव है अनफॉर्चुनेटली. तो हमें और ट्राई करना पड़ेगा निगेटिव के लिए. तो यहाँ पे मैं लिखूंगा 77,420 is summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow 70,000. Still it is positive 7420. Obviously I'm supposed to go for 35% now, क्योंकि it is now marginally positive. अभी ये marginally positive है, तो ये शायद निगेटिव हो जाएगा 35 के लिए. शायद है फिर से, क्योंकि यहाँ पे 7,400 है, उधर 3,050 है. बेटर आई ट्राई 40% इज द बेस्ट थिंग, सो दैट अगर 35 पे भी अननेसेसरी पॉजिटिव आ गया तो मुझे 40 फिर से ट्राई करना पड़ेगा. सो आई एम डायरेक्टली गोइंग फॉर 40 नाउ. सो 40 अगर करूंगा तो क्या आएगा देखते हैं. सो लेट मी ट्राई फॉर 40% एंड देन we can go for the answer. So we tried so many here. So this is A, right? Then we have done for B 20%. First is 10, then 20, then even we have done 30. It is C, and now D we are trying 40%. So अभी directly 40 try करते हैं. NPV at the rate 40%. For X सबसे पहले try करते हैं. Same formula. समेशन ऑफ डिस्काउंटेड कैश इनफ्लो के लिए 30,000 इंटू पीवी फैक्टर का जो भी है टोटल आएगा आपका. और पीवी फैक्टर चेक करते हैं क्या क्या दिए 40% के लिए. I'm again repeating, not necessary PV factors are given in the question. नहीं दिए तो आपको खुद को करना है by the equation 1/1 plus r raised to n. So 0.714 plus 0.510 plus 0.364 plus 0.260 plus 0.186. So ये आया आपका एन्युटी का टोटल 2.034. So this is coming 2.034. This we can refer only for annuity, my dear. That is for project X. So 2.034 I can do here. And naturally minus 70,000. ये आएगा पॉजिटिव, ऐसा लग तो रहा है. तो 2.034 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 30,000. 2.034 multiplied by 30,000. Yes, it is coming negative 61,020. तो अभी तो ये 61,020 आया है. Summation of discounted cash inflow minus 70,000, my dear. So this is coming negative, and it is coming. ये नेगेटिव कितना आया 8980. 8980. In finance accounting, no minus sign is going to be shown. It is going to be shown with the bracket there. तो ये 8,980 आ रहा है as of now. Now let's do for Y. NPV at 40%. X का तो आ गया निगेटिव, तो अभी 30 लेंगे पॉजिटिव वाला और निगेटिव लेंगे 40 वाला. शायद आ जाए Y के लिए भी. Y का चेक कर लेते हैं. Y का इंडिविजुअली हमें देखना पड़ेगा, because basically it is all 5 discounting factors there. So let me try for Y there. Y के डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर लेने हैं, उसका मल्टीप्लिकेशन लेना है, फिर उसका टोटल करना है, एंड देन वी आर डन विथ IRR एज वेल. तो हमारा IRR हो जाएगा, and that's quite easy. This is the procedure, students. Once you do practice, it's not difficult, believe me. It's all about practice. In examination, usually the rates are given and maybe those rates, with those rates immediately it is going to turn positive. That we can just expect, isn't it? तो वो अपन एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. सो 40 वाले रेट्स लिख लेते हैं पहले, क्योंकि वाई के लिए डिफरेंशियल कैश इनफ्लोज है. 714510364. सेवन वन जीरो 714510 364. 714510364 260186. एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं. 714 510 364 260186. 260186. That's 260186. So changing here, y का कैलकुलेशन कर लेते हैं अभी फटाफट, ताकि पता चले पॉजिटिव आएगा या नहीं. 50,000 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 0.714, it is coming 35,700. For y we are doing, x is done already, annuity it was 40,000 multiplied by 0.510, and it is coming 20,400. Second one. Third is 20,000 into 0.364 7280. Last two are 2600 and 1860. Total 35,700 plus 20,400 plus 7280 plus 2600 plus 1860. These are the five. Total is 67,840. God, we tried. 40 is the best thing. 35 would have been again positive, my dear, and it would have taken so much of time. तो हमने 40 किया, अच्छा किया. 67,840 is your summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow is 70,000, and hence it is coming negative. It is 2160. Now we got पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव बाय 10 20 30. 10 20 और 30 तीनों से पॉजिटिव आया, 40 से नेगेटिव आया. So directly we can try 30 and 40, because 10 and 40 difference will be so much, 20 and 40 difference will be so much. So better to try 30 and 40. So 30 and 40 का ले सकते हैं अपन. 30 का ये रहा आपके सामने पॉजिटिव दोनों का, और नेगेटिव नीचे ही है 2160. 67,840 minus 70,000. That is coming 2160 is right. Now let's go for IRR, my dear, and calculate IRR here. अभी यहाँ पे IRR निकाल लेते हैं. तो IRR कैसे निकालना है, x का और y का. The formula is given here. यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला दिया है आपको IRR के लिए. ये देखिए क्या फॉर्मूला है. लोअर रेट प्लस NPV at lower rate divided by difference in two present values into difference into two rates. So let's go for x. 30 and 40 ट्राई करना है हमें. तो मैं यहाँ पे डिस्काउंटेड पेबैक में लिख लेता हूँ, because I think even I can write down here, no issues there. Let's do here. Do remember, this is not for discounted payback. I'm still calculating IRR, right, students? So IRR for x 30% is your obviously lower rate. 30 and 40 I'm trying. NPV at 30 is 3050, which is the numerator here. NPV at lower rate divided by difference between two PVs. तो मेरा 30 का 3050 है या फिर 30 का 7350 है। अगर मैं इसको लेता हूं तो भी चलेगा, 3050 को लेता हूं तो भी चलेगा। तो आई कैन डायरेक्टली टेक 3050, माइनस के बजाय प्लस आएगा, और 40 का आएगा 8980, 8980। So it is 12,030 is my difference between two PVs by formula there। या फिर मैं ये भी ट्राई कर सकता हूँ, क्या है, 73050 is my PV for 30%, और इसका PV मेरा 40 का है 61020, 61020। So it is anyways coming 12,030। तो ये 12,030 आ रहा है मेरा, दोनों का डिफरेंस। तो ये 12,030 and multiplied by difference in two rates. So I'm tying 30 and 40, so it is difference is 10. Making a bracket here, Bodomos bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So it is 30 plus, पहले bracket solve करके लेता हूँ मैं। So it is 3050 divided by 12030, 0.2535. So it is 0.254 into 10 I can do, and 30 plus it is 0.254 into 10, एक से डेसिमल आगे चला जाएगा, 2.4 आ जाएगा एब्सोल्युटली, and hence my IRR is 32.54% for IRR for X and Y के लिए अभी निकालना बाकी है। Y का भी निकाल लेता हूँ, Y के लिए भी 30 ट्राई किया था। 30 का NPV कितना है लेकिन Y का 7420, यू कैन चेक हियर, 7420 डिवाइडेड बाय 2 PV का डिफरेंस। 30 का आपका आया है ऑब्वियसली 77,420 एंड 67,840, ये भी करे तो चलेगा, या फिर आप दोनों का PV का भी कर लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। 77,420 माइनस 67,840, ये दोनों की PV का डिफरेंस 9580, 9580 multiplied by difference in rates is 10 again. So it is 30 plus 7420 divided by 9580, 0.774775, 0.775, और मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा 10 से तो ऑब्वियसली ये एक डेसिमल आगे चला जाएगा, डेसिमल 0.775 की बजाय 7.75 हो जाएगा, एंड हेंस माय आंसर इज 37.75%. So my IRR for X is 32.54%, my dear, and for Y it is coming 37.75%. This way around IRR is calculated. IRR should be calculated at such a rate where NPV becomes exactly 0, जहां पे आपका NPV 0 हो जाता है, ऐसा आपको IRR निकालना है। So आपका IRR का क्राइटेरिया क्या है, आपका कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल से IRR ज्यादा है तो एक्सेप्ट करो, वरना रिजेक्ट करो। तो ये देखिए IRR का क्राइटेरिया, आई एम शोइंग यू हियर, IRR ग्रेटर देन कॉस्ट ऑफ रेट, ऑब्वियसली 32.54 और 37.75 दोनों 10% से ज्यादा है, हेंस बोथ आर एक्सेप्टेड, बट ऑब्वियसली यू कैन एक्सेप्ट बोथ द प्रोजेक्ट्स हियर। देखा जाए तो X भी एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं और Y भी एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि क्राइटेरिया के हिसाब से X इज आल्सो हैविंग IRR मोर देन cost of capital here, Y is also having IRR more than cost of capital. So how to calculate IRR? So we have seen three methods into this lecture, my dear. Number one, we have seen net present value, where we have seen the difference between summation of discounted cash inflow or summation of present value of future cash inflow minus cash outflow, or else summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow, yeah, initial investment. And same formula we have seen in profitability index, summation of discounted cash inflow divided by cash outflow. Third, IRR we have seen, it is a trial and error method where we need to find out two rates at which NPV, one is positive and another one is negative, so that we can say that IRR lies in between positive and negative। और वो हमने ढूंढा, तो हमें यहाँ पे काफी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, 10 से लेके 40 तक अपन गए, तो तब जाके 30 और 40 के बीच में 30 का पॉजिटिव था और 40 का निगेटिव था। Hence, we calculated IRR by this particular way. Last method is, my dear, discounted payback period. Discounted payback and payback formulas are same. The only difference is that payback doesn't consider time value of money. Discounted payback considers time value of money. तो discounted payback के लिए हमें discounted cash flow का cumulative cash inflow निकालना पड़ेगा. Here again the two formulas are there. When cash inflows are constant and similar, the formula is initial investment divided by annual cash inflow. And if cash inflows are not similar, means those are differential cash inflow, then obviously the year after which initial investment is recovered. तो 10% वाला CCF निकालते हैं. कहां पे है 10% वाला? तो ये था हमारा कल का 10% जो हमने कैलकुलेट किया, अभी भी यहाँ पे अवेलेबल है हमारे लिए. ये हमने अभी किया है, सॉरी अभी किया हमने, लेकिन अब इसका हमें क्या निकालना है? क्यूमुलेटिव कैश इनफ्लो, सो दैट वी कैन फाइंड आउट डिस्काउंटेड पेबैक पीरियड. तो अगर मैं इसका एक क्यूमुलेटिव का यहाँ पे एक टेबल अगर ऐड कर देता हूं, सो लेट मी डू इट. फॉर एक्स का मैं इधर कर देता हूं जस्ट टू शो यू, एंड वाई का इधर कर देता हूं सो दैट we can understand it. So it is simply cumulative cash inflow is 1, 1 plus 2, then 1 plus 2 plus 3, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and so on till you recover your initial investment of 70,000. तो x का देखते हैं कहां तक चलता है. तो x का पहले है 27,270 प्लस, लेकिन x के लिए we have seen that it was annuity, but annuity was in terms of future cash inflow, not present value. प्रेजेंट वैल्यू तो डिफर हो रहे, इसलिए इसका डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो निकालना पड़ेगा. हमने प्रेजेंट पे तो डायरेक्टली कर दिया था, सिंपल पेबैक में 30,000 से डिवाइड कर दिया हमने, है ना. 70,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 30,000 इन यस्टरडेज क्लास, बिकॉज कैश इनफ्लोज आर सेम, बट हियर कैश इनफ्लोज आर डिफरेंशियल. व्हाई? बिकॉज आज वी आर कैलकुलेटिंग प्रेजेंट वैल्यू, सो देयर फ्यूचर कैश इनफ्लोज were same, but present cash inflows are differing because of the discounting factor. क्योंकि पहले का डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर 0.909 है, दूसरे का 0.826 है, तीसरे का 0.751 है, तो वो हिसाब से वो वैरी कर रहा है. तो पहला ले लेते हैं 27270 प्लस 24780, एंड दैट इज कमिंग 52050. तो पहला 27270, दूसरा 52050, तीसरा, अब बस तीसरा ऐड करना है कैश फ्लो उसमें 22,530, 74,580. यही पे हमारा काम खत्म हो गया स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि हमें बस 70,000 रिकवर करने हैं. एज आवर इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट इज 70,000 which you can see on the screen. So here it is recovered for X in between second and third year for discounted payback. Y का देख लेते हैं. Y के लिए here it is 45,450 second year, 45,450 plus 33,040, 78,490 is second. यही पे हो गया रिकवर हमारा. So for Y payback period is in between first and second year, but for X it is second and third year. Y का देख लीजिए स्टूडेंट, सेकंड ही 78,490 आ रहा है, इसलिए Y के लिए 1 and 2 ईयर के बीच में ही अपन रिकवरी कर रहे हैं. X के लिए 2 और 3 के बीच में रिकवरी कर रहे हैं. So what we need to calculate is cumulative cash inflow for discounted cash flow when we are trying for discounted payback. सिंपल में क्या किया था, इसी 30,000 का कर लिया था हमने, एंड Y के लिए 50, 40 और 20 जो आपके सामने दिए उसका कर लिया था, क्योंकि इट वाज सिंपल पेबैक पीरियड व्हिच डजंट कंसीडर टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी. बट इन डिस्काउंटेड पेबैक पीरियड वी हैव टू डिस्काउंट द कैश इनफ्लोज देयर. तो यहाँ पे हमें डिस्काउंटेड पेबैक निकालना है. सो फॉर्मूला क्या है इसका? द ईयर आफ्टर विच इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट इज रिकवर्ड. सो फॉर एक्स मैं उसके क्यूमुलेटिव कैश इनफ्लो, ये देखिए 52,050 है, 2 साल बाद, 3 साल बाद 74,580 है. तो x का पहले निकाल लेते हैं, याद रखिए 52,050. So payback period for X, discounted payback period for X, discounted payback period for X, the year after which initial investment is recovered is 2 years, plus remaining amount to be recovered is 70,000 minus 52,050, क्योंकि 2 साल बाद इतना रिकवर हुआ था. थर्ड ईयर कैश इनफ्लो we want for X, बिकॉज बचे वाला तीसरे कैश इनफ्लो से आएगा. 22,530 is your third year cash inflow, discounted cash inflow. 22,530. एंड ऑब्वियसली आखिरी में मल्टीप्लाई बाय मंथ्स करेंगे. सो इट इज जस्ट अ मिनट. ओके, यहाँ पे स्पेस खत्म हो चुका है. तो 2 years प्लस इसका डिफरेंस मैं ले लेता हूँ 70,000 माइनस 52,050 17,950 17950. It is coming, my dear, divided by 22,530, and obviously it is 2 years plus division of these things 17,950 divided by 22,530 is 0.796 or 0.797. I can take 0.797 multiplied by 12. So it is 0.797 coming multiplied by 12 months. करूंगा मैं इसका अप्रोक्सीमेट करने के लिए, and my answer is 2 years and 9.5 आ रहा है, so I can take 10 months approximately. 2 years and 10 months approximately. This is payback, discounted payback period for X. X के लिए discounted payback period है मेरा. Check out here 2 years plus. आप देख सकते हैं the amount to be recovered is 70,000. After 2 years, recovered amount is 52,550 divided by third year cash inflow, discounted cash inflow, because we are calculating discounted payback period. So 22,530, and then obviously the final answer is multiplied with 12 months there, and answer is coming 2 years and 10 months. So this is the discounted payback period for X, or for Y the same procedure is repeated. Y के लिए भी हमें क्या करना है? Similar procedure is repeated, my dear. एंड y के लिए करना क्या है? इट इज इन बिटवीन फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड ईयर, तो y का ऊपर ही कर देता हूं मैं अभी. ये देखिए, तो 1 year प्लस let me do it here only. After 1 year it is 45,450. So for y discounted payback period is 1 year plus 1 year 45,450. So 70,000 divided 70,000 minus 45,450 divided by second year cash inflow, discounted cash inflow लेना पड़ेगा 33,040, which need to be further multiplied with months 33,040. So it is 1 year plus अभी कितना रिकवर होना बाकी है? 70,000 minus 45,450 is recovered, so remaining is 24,550 divided by 33,040. So it is 1 year plus division of these two things 24,550 divided by 33,040. It is coming 0.743. 0.743 need to be multiplied with the months. 0.743 need to be multiplied with the months. So into 12 months. 0.743 into 12. It is coming 8.9. So 9 months I can say. So it is 1 year and 9 months approximately for Y. So obviously Y is accepted here, because for X it is 2 years coming, so it is higher payback period. X का 2 years and 10 months आ रहा है, Y का 1 year and 9 months आ रहा है, which is lesser than X. So in case of discounted payback period project, X is rejected here, Y is accepted because Y is having lesser payback period and it is better to recover the amount quite earlier. So guys, these are the 4 methods which we have seen today in discounted cash flow techniques. Number 1, net present value method. Formula is summation of discounted cash inflow minus cash outflow. Second is profitability index. Formula is summation of discounted cash inflow divided by cash outflow. IRR formula is low rate plus NPV at low rate divided by difference in 2 PVs multiplied by difference into 2 rates, by which one is positive NPV, another is negative NPV. Discounted payback period and payback period is one and the same. The only difference is that for payback period we consider simple cash inflow, which are net cash inflows, and for discounted payback period we consider discounted cash flows, their cumulative cash inflows, and obviously we apply the formula, the year after which initial investment is recovered plus remaining amount to be recovered divided by next year cash inflow to be considered for recovering the payback period, multiplied by months because it is coming into fraction. I hope you are enjoying this particular lecture. Now the only part pending is when cash inflows are given in the form of gross. There we need to deduct depreciation first. Let me tell you the formula for depreciation there. It is cost of the fixed asset minus salvage value divided by estimated economic life of the asset. So this is the formula for depreciation, my dear. Do remember, never forget. So if you want to calculate depreciation when cash inflows are given in, जब आपको कैश इनफ्लो कैसे दिए ग्रॉस, देन इन दैट केस व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, तो आपको पहले डिप्रीशिएशन निकालना पड़ेगा. फॉर्मूला क्या है? कॉस्ट ऑफ फिक्स्ड असेट माइनस साल्वेज स्क्रैप रेसिडुअल वैल्यू डिवाइडेड बाय एस्टिमेटेड इकोनॉमिक लाइफ ऑफ द असेट, divided by estimated economic life of asset. And do remember students, as I told you, cost of the asset is separate and cost of the project is separate. And here at the same time जब inflows आप ले रहे, at the end you need to take the inflows in terms of working capital and salvage value. But do remember, the working capital and salvage value both need not be charged with depreciation. इसको बस डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो से मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा एट द रेट मे बी आफ्टर 5 years 10 years जो भी रहेगा, DCF डिस्काउंटेड फैक्टर एट 5 और 10 whatever is given उसको मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. उस पर कोई डिप्रीशिएशन चार्ज नहीं करना है. और डिप्रीशिएशन कैसे निकालते हैं? कॉस्ट ऑफ फिक्स्ड असेट विच इज नथिंग बट एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट ऑफ द असेट प्लस एनी इंसिडेंटल एक्सपेंसेस, that is going to make the cost of the fixed asset minus any salvage residual or scrap value divided by estimated economic life of the asset. And जब भी आपको कैश फ्लो बिफोर डिप्रीशिएशन एंड टैक्स दिया जाए तो कैसा करना है? सबसे पहले डिप्रीशिएशन माइनस करना है, ये फॉर्मूले से निकाल के. फिर आएगा आपका कैश फ्लो आफ्टर डिप्रीशिएशन, फिर उसमें ये अमाउंट पे कैश फ्लो आफ्टर डिप्रीशिएशन पे टैक्स माइनस करना है, जो भी दिया है 25% 30% वॉटेवर जो भी है वो लेना है. फिर आएगा आपका कैश फ्लो आफ्टर टैक्स, फिर आपको इसमें एड बैक करना है डिप्रीशिएशन, फिर आएगा आपका एंड आउटपुट जो हमें बार बार चाहिए होता है विच इज कॉल्ड एज नेट कैश इनफ्लोज. अब इसको मल्टीप्लाई आप कर सकते हैं किसके साथ? इनटू डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर और इनटू पीवी फैक्टर विच इज गिवन एट 10%, 15%, 20%. सो गाइज दिस इज द वे इफ कैश फ्लोज आर गिवन इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रॉस कैश इनफ्लो. लेकिन याद रखिए इसी के साथ वी नीड टू ऐड any salvage value which is remaining at the end of the economic life of the asset multiplied by its discounting factor plus any working capital which is released at the end of the economic life, उसको भी मल्टीप्लाई करके इसके साथ ऐड करना है. डिप्रीशिएशन कैलकुलेट करने का फॉर्मूला भी मैंने बोल दिया. एंड दिस इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर कैलकुलेशन ऑफ डिप्रीशिएशन बाय स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, फिक्स्ड इंस्टॉलमेंट मेथड और ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट ऑफ द depreciation method. Formula is cost of the fixed asset minus salvage, scrap or residual value divided by estimated economic life of the asset. So this way around we all can finish it. I hope you are enjoying this lecture. So do it properly. Thank you and God bless you. Have a wonderful day ahead and do proper practice so that there won't be any